If you make a New Year's resolution, you're going into something with no end goal. You're just saying, I'm going to change my life now. If you go into a 30-day challenge, all you have to do is go through 30 days of it. But that 30 days is enough time to develop a habit.
Was 40% of resolutions actually fail?
I think it's closer to 90%, to be honest.
90%. There's all this emphasis on, I'm going to be strong, I'm going to be lean, I'm going to build muscle, but no one's building muscle in here.
I like journaling. Some guys will hate it and say it's gay.
I like what journaling does mentally. I just don't like what it represents now in the term journaling.
There's so many boys that post in Blokes advice. They talk about the black dog coming, but they're also drinking and they're also eating shit and they're also not getting enough sleep. Address some of these things. We all know that's why. Welcome to the Better Bloke podcast. I'm Matty.
I'm Rob.
And we're just a pair of average blokes on a mission to try and be a little bit less average.
We're going to speak about all things highs and lows of what it feels like to be a bloke, plus speak to some legends along the way about what it takes to be a better bloke. Let's get stuck in. New year, new me. Happy New Year, Better Bloke community. It's 2025.
Yeah, where the hell did 2024 go?
Who the fuck knows?
I think that's a testimony to us getting older. I heard someone talking about it, and as you get older and older, a year is a smaller percentage of your life. So your perspective on it is that it actually is a shorter time frame.
I've actually got a theory behind why the year feels so much longer, so much shorter, sorry. It's because it doesn't get until probably like April-ish until I stop writing 2024 or 2023. I'm just in that habit where you've just gotten used to writing what year it is, and then the year's done. So for the first 3 or 4 months of the year, I'm writing the wrong year anyway.
Yeah, fair. But wouldn't that extend how long the previous year goes for? Gotcha.
Yeah. Shit. Oh, well, math wasn't my strong point, apparently.
All right. What we're jumping into this one is all things to set yourself up for a solid year. So,
which is very much something that we've been doing the entire way through the Better Bloke project story.
It's the point of the project. We're trying to make better dudes. But if there's ever a time where guys kind of take a look at their life and say, hey, how can I be a little bit better? It's the 1st of January.
Yes.
You're waking up, you're hungover, you're having thoughts about the way you've been conducting your life, and you think, it's January, it's time to set some goals, some New Year's resolutions. Take a hard look at my life and think, how can I be better this year?
I'm going to go sign up to a gym.
And then not go.
And then just waste money.
So that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So to kick it off, New Year's resolutions. I think when it comes to it, a lot of people like to pick tangible goals. Maybe they want to lose 20 kilos. Maybe they want to start going to the gym X amount of times per week. Maybe they want to earn a certain amount of money or put a certain amount of money away in the bank. They want to do a European holiday. It's all very tangible physical goals. But I think it's an interesting time to think about some of the more purpose-driven goals. Really look at your reasons why you enjoy life. What are the things that are important to you, and how are you able to add some sort of tangible goal to those things? I'm talking the importance of spending time with your kids, the importance of your relationship between you and your partner, or you and your parents,
or you and yourself.
You and yourself.
That's a very, very big thing that often gets overlooked. That I think just having positive relationships with whoever is in your environment should be the priority to maybe setting what your goals are for that full entire upcoming year.
Yeah, something that's not measured in dollar figures or kilograms, which are important too. We'll talk about that. But how do you see being able to measure, say, relationship with kids? I know you don't like to measure it.
I don't like to measure it because you can't put a measurement on, oh, my kids love me this much. Or you probably could put a measurement on like how much time I spent with the kids, or we did this many activities if you want to start getting down the spreadsheets route and all that sort of shit. But then is that taking you away from actually spending the time with the kids?
What about, I had a great year with my kids. This year, I'd really like to do more of that quality time. Maybe I liked the way that we went away for some of these weekends. I liked that we were going to gym and doing this stuff together. How can I do more of that and make some changes based on allowing yourself the time and the space to do that?
That's definitely something that I've been thinking about, specifically with Hemi, is like that's my favorite time. It's just like the him and me time. And I know with how busy we've probably been with this project, maybe my time hasn't been as much as it previously was, just because we are in the building process of this. So that's definitely a goal of mine. I'm like, yeah, hey, this is my priority. This is one of my goals for the new year. So, but then how can you measure it? You can't. You just hold yourself accountable. There's that A word again. And you deep down in yourself will know that, yeah.
Yeah. I think at the end of the year, you'll have a gut feeling on whether you did it or not. It's just being able to look at it, to be able to put the processes in place to do the thing you're trying to set out to. As this episode drops, starting tomorrow, we're at Summer Nats.
We are, with Hemi.
With Hemi. So you're going to have 4 days straight of him. So you'll probably might be a bit...
It's going to start the year off very, very well for my New Year goals.
Yeah. I have just spent 13 hours driving in a car with Hemi. So my time with Hemi has already been off to a good start.
Yeah.
I think I'll be ready to have a break as of Sunday.
There's going to be a lot of breaks for you. So, yeah, getting around and mingling with the crowd. Whilst we're speaking about resolutions, because that was something that you sort of dropped nice and early. A little while ago, you did a blog on the Blokes Advice blog page, and you had a statistic in it that I think it was 40% of resolutions actually fail.
I think it's more than that.
It's more than that, is it?
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not surprising because I myself shit out at actually sticking to a resolution. It's you get sort of caught up in the hype of new year, new me. I'm going to make a post about it. So everyone looks at me like, hey, I'm going to the gym. And you'll post like a week of just you doing legs or something like that. And you realize like, fuck this sucks.
Yeah, I think it's closer to 90%, to be honest.
90%?
It's huge because people set these crazy goals on themselves. And, you know, it's easy enough to do it for a little bit. But if you set something sort of unrealistic, you can get close to it and you can do it for a bit and that makes you feel good. And it's still better because you've done something. But what this article I wrote was about was a study I saw which pushed the power of doing a 30-day challenge rather than making a New Year's resolution, which had a lot of interesting data behind it. And it was all to do with the power of habit building and breaking bad habits. The concept is, if you make a New Year's resolution, you're going into something with no end goal. You're just saying, I'm going to change my life now. If you go into a 30-day challenge, all you have to do is go through 30 days of it. But that 30 days is enough time to develop a habit. And what that's going to do is set out those following 11 months to be more likely that you're going to be able to do the thing you said you were going to do. That seems to be what the research suggests a more powerful way to make lasting change in your life.
I can definitely see that because even if you don't carry on that 30-day challenge in its entirety for the entire year, your baseline before you started that, even if you take 10% of that, you're still above where you originally started, carrying on that 10%, then dropping out like the 90%, I guess.
And it's achievable and it's tangible and it doesn't last that long and you don't think it's going to ruin your life. You see these like 6-week body transformations and stuff like that. The process of going through it, let's look at it in terms of a fitness challenge. You're going to learn a little bit about nutrition. You're going to learn a little bit about exercise, and 6 weeks isn't going to kill you, right? So a lot of people with a bit of motivation and a bit of discipline are going to be able to get through that. And on the back end of the 6 weeks, they're going to have this skill set on nutrition and exercise and different routines that they might not continue at that capacity, but it's changed their habits. It hopefully has broken some bad habits they've given up or reduced, things like the obsessive eating or the things they're eating, maybe that they've learnt that, you know what, Diet Coke or Coke Zero actually has very few calories compared to normal Coke. Even if that's literally all you took out of it, that's sustainable change. It's gonna make a big impact.
Well, I can speak on that from a personal standpoint because not too long ago, I just finished Geordie, the Fight Dietitian's 8-week weight loss challenge. And although I didn't stick to the script the entire way through, the habits that it's forced in my head, like I'm reading the back of stuff now, finding out how many calories, how many proteins, how many carbs. And it's started that habit in me that it's a positive change just from doing this 8-week challenge. That's enough to, I don't know, for anyone to give it a crack.
Yeah. So that's that. Like if you're sitting there today thinking like, I want to make some change in my life, don't commit to a New Year's resolution. Commit to doing something for January, and actually doing it is incredibly powerful, I think. I think everyone should give it a crack. When it comes to figuring out what to do, I think that is where there's a lot of conversation to be had. Because there's a million things we can all change. We could all be fitter. We could all lose weight or gain muscle. We could all dress better. We could all earn more money and do more things and learn more skills and spend more time with the kids and spend more time doing hobbies. The list goes on. So it's about picking one thing, two things maybe, that you can actually make change in.
And they don't have to be big change as long as it's incremental change. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of the issue that most boys have, well, not even boys, most people have, they go into these things at the beginning of the year or doing these challenges and they think, I'm going to do this and the changes are going to be incredible. Everything's going to change. And then they start doing it for a few weeks and they quickly learn, oh shit, nothing's happened, because they're trying to look at the bigger picture instead of focusing on those small incremental wins or incremental changes. That's what people need to start doing a bit more.
I think it's powerful to look at the thing that you know is the worst for you, the thing that you're doing that you know you shouldn't be doing. We all have them. And then try and come up with that couple steps you can do that isn't going to break you, that's going to be manageable. So say for some people it's a drink, right? Maybe it's we don't drink on weeknights anymore. Can you get through that for a whole month? That's just an example. But by looking at the thing that's most detrimental to you, that could be your communication with your partner. Maybe you know that that's a bit of a sore spot for you. And maybe you can set a reminder in your phone 4 times a week to ask my wife about, get AI to make a whole bunch of questions that you can ask her to kickstart communication. Doing something based on the thing you know you're shit at is where I think people need to start when it comes to setting these resolutions.
That all comes back to self-reflection then though, doesn't it?
Yeah, good. It's January 1st. Do a bit of self-reflection.
Yeah, very, very. Maybe not on January 1st, because you're probably going to be reflecting pretty bad on what you did last night.
Good. I just said, look at what you're doing the worst thing at.
That's very, very fair.
If you're feeling sad and in the dumps and thinking like shit, stop doing that. Whatever you're feeling sad about, whatever's making you not feel good consistently, not just that one night that you drank a bit too much and bought something for $350. Do something that's caused you grief over the last 6 months and work on that. Something else that was in that article was, I guess, the 3 most common New Year's resolutions we see made. And that is all around getting fit, eating healthy, and being healthy.
So it's all physical based resolutions. Why the fuck is it never mentally based resolutions? And that's something that we've been trying to promote for a very long time. There's all this emphasis on, I'm going to be strong, I'm going to be lean, I'm going to build muscle, but no one's building muscle in here.
Okay, so what are some stuff that people could do on the mental thing? Because that's what we spoke about when this thing first started a good 10 minutes ago, is that it's not tangible.
Small incremental wins. And exactly what you just said before, you need to self-reflect on what your shortcomings are.
But how do you make it tangible? That's why those are the 3 big ones, because you know if you're losing weight. You know how many calories you've eaten. Like it's tangible. That's why people can say, I want to be happier. Oh, great. What do I have to do?
Don't be sad.
Easy, guys. It's easy.
I mean, but that's, if you know that maybe we'll use something that's come up a lot recently with a lot of boys we've been speaking about. I don't know if this is because of financial pressures or everyone's just, now that we've sort of come through a full year, I know a lot of boys feel really flat coming to the end of the year. because they're just drained, exhausted, whatever it is. But a lot of guys refer to it as being stuck in that rut. Now, there's no better kickstarter to trying to get out of that rut than what's today. It's New Year's. Get out of that rut. That's something that like you can mentally help yourself too. If you know you're in a rut, you know that mentally you're probably not in the best state that you need to be. So you've got your baseline. What can you do to try and get out of that? It's no different to, oh yeah, I've got a bit of belly fat. I'm going to try and start maybe doing a bit more walking, eat a bit better. I'm going to do a couple of crunches, maybe sweat a bit more. Get out of the rut. Get out of your head. Do something that's going to mentally change you.
But that's what I'm questioning. What? If we're setting goals mentally, yes, I need to self-reflect and figure out what's going wrong, but then there has to be something that's tangible attached to it. So let's say it is exhaustion that's related to overworking and stress-related stuff. You know, to get out of that rut or to get yourself mentally sound, you got to look at it in the same sense as you would look at going to the gym. If you set your goal at 3 gym sessions a week or whatever it is, you have to think, how can I do something like that that's related to these mental problems that I'm facing? That might be, what can I do to reduce anxiety? There's a lot of things. You can start going for walks every day. You could get a therapist. You could spend a couple nights a week hanging out with the boys. How do you do that? Maybe I need to join a recreational basketball league. Maybe I need to join CrossFit. But if you start at the core problem of recognizing why this rut has happened, spend some time, write a list, get a little notebook and be like, I hate this and this and this and this, and I think it happened because of this and this and this. Figure out a couple things that become tangible that you can look back on in 30 days and say, did I actually do it? And that's how I think you make a mental goal tangible. By coming up with a potential solution and saying, did I do it or not?
So you're saying journaling?
I like journaling. Some guys will hate it and say it's gay. But
I like what journaling does mentally. I just don't like what it represents now in the term journaling.
I don't journal in terms of writing out my day every time.
You write your shit down though.
Whenever I see a problem coming up, like I don't want to go to the notes app where most of my stuff lives. I want a piece of paper and just like scribble and draw some lines and say, oh, that's kind of related to that. And here's like 4 ideas over here about some other random shit.
I think that's the thing about actually physically writing something with a pen and paper. There's something textile about it, so it hits different.
You can cross it out. You can draw some lines. I use it more as brainstorming, I think. And I do that. I've done that with teams that I work with in the past as well. I'm like, I just want to put all this shit out there, whether it's on a whiteboard and the whole thing becomes a mess. I think, the exercise of thought dumping is going to get a lot of shit out of you. And physically writing it's a good way to do it.
No, I'm a big fan of that. I actually, completely agree that that's probably a very good starting point if someone is in that rut and they're trying to figure out what they can do mentally to make it a tangible goal. That's unreal. There is so many ways. Like, all we need to look at a couple of weeks ago, we attended our first collaborative jiu-jitsu event. And you spoke about how important it is to find your people. And that was very, very apparent that in these little niche communities, everyone has their people. So I can't recommend someone going out and trying to find a core group of men to surround themselves out with if they are in that mental space. And obviously it doesn't have to be a physical activity like jiu-jitsu, but just surround yourself with the right people. It might take a bit of time to figure that out.
Yeah, obviously the rut you're in defines what the solution would be. But if I had to suggest what it's going to be in community. So you need to get some boys around you with a shared passion. And I don't care if that's jiu-jitsu or gaming or going hunting, fishing, an actual sport, or I don't know, going to an art class, going to Pilates. If you are passionate about that and you can get a group of people around you, because then conversations happen shoulder to shoulder. you can lean on people. That's going to help. Getting off the piss, doing some basic exercise, literally going for a walk, getting off the screen a little bit, and maybe looking at your diet. I'm not saying go on a diet. I'm saying maybe don't eat Maccas 3 times a day if that's what you're doing and that's you're feeling in a rut.
That'll also help your fucking pocket too.
I think if you're really down and out, you know all the shit that you're doing. It's like if you're fat, you know why you're fat. I know it can be hard to feel like that there's any way out of it, but there's so many boys that post in Blokes Advice and they talk about the black dog coming, but they're also drinking and they're also eating shit and they're also not getting enough sleep and they're also not doing any exercise. It's like, mate, address some of these things. We all know that's why. There's underlying issues and all that as well. But we all know if you had a little improvement on one of these things or all of these things, you're going to start feeling better and we might get some momentum behind what you're doing and feeling.
I think what you just said there is address those things, and even if they had a little bit of difference in them, it makes a massive change. You don't have to address every single thing because it quickly overwhelms you and you won't fucking do any of it. Little small changes go a long way when you're trying to actually mentally or physically better yourself.
I guess the compounding effect of working on multiple facets as well. So if you just pick one thing and it gets you to a way better baseline, when you do the next thing, you're improving on that baseline. So it's not like everything's starting at this terrible low point. It just keeps getting better and better and compounds. So
it's like in Mario, it's your checkpoint.
100%.
When you die, you're not going to go all back to the start. You're going to start at your checkpoint. So
a lot of what we've spoken about up till now is goals for yourself, making yourself better. But how about goals to make the people around you better, or at least feel better, or interact with you better?
Well, wouldn't that be a lot of the reason that someone wants to have goals for themselves, is so that they're a better person for the ones they love?
Some people just want to be better. So maybe like a weight goal, that's kind of selfish. Like, yes, you'll be hotter for your wife, but it's good for your health. It's good for your self-image. It's good for your stuff. But if your goal was to, how can I make my wife light up? Like, and then all that stuff we just spoke about with the brainstorming about making yourself better, you wrote it down about her. And then you figured out all the things that you could do that'll make her life a little bit better. Do the same thing for your kids. Do the same thing for your 5 best mates. How can I be a better person to some of these people in my life? I think that would be fucking awesome if everyone sat down and did that.
I think the best way doing that, though, is, and it's an issue that we come up on Blokes Advice with a lot, is communication needs to be practiced more. Like, it's all well and good to make goals for yourself to go, okay, I want to do everything I can this year to be a better partner. Why not speak to your partner about that and set those goals together? Because then you both know exactly what you want. You both know exactly what you want to achieve, and you're both going to work together to actually achieve those.
I agree, setting goals as a partner, but I don't agree that that means you can't do the other thing. Because if it's a goal together, it's not a surprise for her. I think it'd be so sweet. No, like, imagine if you literally sat down in January and then you figured out, you know what she does love? She loves fresh flowers in the house. And then you went through your phone, and then on the 3rd Thursday every month, you set a reminder in your phone. So it's only 12 times throughout the year. Buy her flowers.
I'm going to pull you up there. The 3rd Thursday of every, the 3rd Thursday of every month, or the 3rd Thursday, like every 3rd Thursday?
3rd Thursday of every month. It doesn't matter. It's a metaphorical example.
Okay, all right, carry on.
But you know what you just did? You just spent 25 minutes sitting down, working out what she likes, setting yourself a tangible goal. You're going to be a better partner. It's going to take fuck all effort on your behalf to do that. It's going to be something she appreciates, and then you're reminding yourself throughout the whole year. I don't think that's like a terrible thing to do. Imagine if you did that for a few different things. Like I said before, have a list of topics that you can talk to her about if she likes that sort of stuff. I think that'd be an awesome thing. Do the same thing with your boys too. Maybe it's like, I don't know, every Saturday you put aside an hour to call some of these boys that you don't call that much. If everyone did a little bit more of this, the world would be maybe a little bit less shit.
I actually really like that. I really like both of those things. And I think they're two super simple things. Like maybe you don't have to go and organise like getting flowers bought or to buy flowers. Like go pick some flowers, but just set those dates to do that. Like, but the biggest thing is the conversations with your boys that everyone knows that they probably have got mates that they don't speak to enough. And this goes back to that whole, finding your tribe, having your community around you. I'm probably going to go home and write some stuff in my calendar now to speak to some, just set some reminders.
I think I will too, yeah. I recently moved to Google Calendar after Apple. It's so much better. Like Apple Calendar sucks. And I've been using it a lot more to do stuff like this outside of my actual to-do list. If I say to one of the boys, man, yeah, it's been too long, we should have spoken earlier, yeah, we'll catch up again soon. I go 3 weeks in the future and I put that call Joshy in the phone. And then you get there before you know it. You wouldn't have called him otherwise. Now it's in there. Big rate. Do it. It's easy. And with the flowers, go to Coles. They're like $8. It's about the gesture. It's not about the spending money for a lot of these girls.
$8 every 3 weeks. That's cheaper than like a Netflix subscription.
It's barely a coffee.
And you probably get more out of it than sitting down in front of the TV watching Netflix.
Yeah, the best thing about it is that flowers last, a good 2 weeks. So for that...
Depends if you put that little sachet thing in it.
Yeah, put the sachet in, cut it right, fresh water, replace the water when it gets too much, sit those flowers somewhere where everyone can see it. And then for that 2 weeks, whenever she says you're thoughtless or you don't care or you're not doing enough, you got something to point at.
You shouldn't buy flowers just so you've got an escape.
Yeah, gaslight.
All right, yeah. No, cool.
No, but maybe you can do that.
That's a very, very good out. No, I do really like that. I think if there's anything that anyone's going to take from this entire episode, it is look at buying your partner some flowers and set some time aside to speak with your boys.
I have one more important thing before we go that's important for you to do in 2025. Go to the doctor. It takes one visit, maybe a couple if you're doing some skin checks, but we're talking prostate cancer, skin cancer, low testosterone, any sort of problems. And we can look at so many of these issues being resolved with 1 or 2 blood tests. Go to the doctor, get checked out. It's not going to kill you. It's not going to take much time. It's free, and it might actually save your life.
It will literally save your life.
Yeah.
You never know what's going to come up. The biggest thing that you mentioned just then that doesn't happen in regular blood work or health checks is getting your testosterone levels checked. A lot of the guys say they're feeling flat and they're not sure why. Turns out they've got low test. So this is something that, you might have to suck your pride up and tell your doctor, hey, maybe stuff isn't working downstairs so that you can actually get subsidised blood work done because for some reason they don't do it. They don't check it nice and easy.
No, you just have to ask.
I haven't had any luck with that.
Have you? I just went to my GP.
Yeah.
This was maybe 6 months ago. And I'm like, mate, I haven't been to the doctor in years. I don't do it. I've never had my full bloods done ever until I was...
Did they check your test levels?
Because I asked them.
Yeah, okay.
And they did. I said, I want to check my test. I want to check everything you can check. All the iron, the cholesterol, all that sort of stuff. Test me for everything. All the screens, everything.
All bulk billed?
All bulk billed, absolutely free. Didn't pay for a cent of it.
That's unreal.
Yeah. And it came back, and now I've got a baseline too because I didn't have the most incredibly healthy year when it came to not sleeping, trying to get this thing off the ground and all my other work. I ate like shit, probably drinking too much. So as I get into 2025 and try and be a little bit healthier, at least I have a baseline now to kind of know where I'm going to be. And if there was any issues that arose, I would have been able to fix them. So
no, I can't get around that message enough. That is definitely one of the easiest and the first things that everyone should do, but specifically blokes, because that's who we're talking to. Go get your blood work and a regular health check done at the beginning of the year so you know where you're at.
Yeah, and do the skin cancer one too as well. We're in Australia. We got bad skin. I've actually ducked out and not done it last year, so I'm behind. But if you're white and pasty like me, it's a problem. And you only have to be in your 20s, and even younger, you can get some pretty nasty shit. So
Even if you're not white and pasty like Matty, if you've got tattoos and you're still tanned, it's definitely something you want to do. Go get checked.
Be happier, be healthier, be a better bloke in 2025. Thanks for tuning into this one. If you want to see what we got on the cards this year, head over to betterblokeproject.org. We have all our events, all the other podcasts, all the other resources and stuff that we are doing. And if you do want to support the stuff we're doing to try and be better blokes in 2025, hit that donate button, because we can't do it by ourselves.
And before we finish, I'm going to jump in there and we need to speak about Bloke of the Week.
Ooh, always a good little segment.
It is.
Go into Bloke's advice and look at some of the blokes doing cool shit. But this guy actually comes from the world of Better Bloke, which is awesome.
Well, he is a member of Bloke's Advice.
He is.
And he's done something incredible for the Better Bloke project. And this happened a few weeks ago, but we need to talk about him.
Yeah. So Tom DeLang, he's been a Bloke's Advice member for a few years. A few years ago, he did this thing where he shaved his head for charity, raised a bunch of money, did some cool things, and he grew the mullet back, and it was time to do it all again. So he's seen the work we've been doing, seen the podcast, and decided he wanted to support what we're doing here at the Better Bloke Project.
So he got his entire town around him, plus a lot of the boys from the community of Bloke's Advice, and they shaved their head at the local pub.
Yeah, the pub got super behind it, made the whole thing into a massive event.
They raised a whole bunch of money, and he actually got up and did a really, really good talk. So he spoke about, that guys need to start talking and why it was so important to spread this message that we're spreading. And because of what he's done, Tom is Bloke of the Week.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. He's raised just over $5,000, and that's going to allow us to get down to some of these southern states. I know everyone's been wanting us to do Sydney and Melbourne and all those sort of things. So thanks to Tom, we'll be coming pretty soon. So again, check the events page on the website.
Jump over, follow us, all the socials, you know where we're at. LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Everywhere you can look up the Better Bloke Project, you will find us. As always, be better. Thanks for tuning into today's episode of Better Bloke. If you got anything out of it, show some love by dropping a 5-star review below.
If you want to learn more about everything we're doing, head to the description, hit the links, and follow us on the socials. If you want to learn more about the project, head to betterblokeproject.org.